Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer because we've got to break down the genuinely chilling mechanics behind a terrifying village curse and, of course, the one girl destined to end the whole thing. We're heading to a place called Fulwa, where survival literally means leaving absolutely everything behind. And as you'll see, the history here, it is about as dark as it gets.
So we start off in the isolated tribal village of Fulwa, and every single year on this exact date, July 15th, the residents just flee. They completely abandon their homes. Imagine having to pack up your entire life annually, right? And they're not doing this for some summer holiday. They run out of pure, unadulterated survival. Even the nearby villages refuse to interact with them. But you've got to ask yourself, why this specific date?
Well, that brings us to Section 1, the Curse of Fulwa.
To understand why an entire community would just abandon their homes like that, we have to look at the brutal, almost clockwork timeline that dictates this curse. Right at midnight, a heavy stone on a cemetery grave just moves on its own and the earth opens up like a tunnel. From then until 4 in the morning, it's an absolute massacre. An army of spirits destroys anything left behind. And then, right before sunrise, it's like they're punching out of the world's most twisted shift. They just vanish back underground.
And let's be super clear about what exactly is coming out of the ground here. We are not talking about your typical bumps in the night. When the villagers come back the next morning, they find blood-soaked streets left behind by actual, physical, demonic entities. We're talking rotting flesh, exposed bones, hollow glowing eyes, and these terrifying growls that would literally freeze your blood. They tear solid doors off their hinges, so yeah, definitely not the kind of pest problem you can just ignore.
Which leads us directly into Section 2. Left behind as bait.
Now, this routine of fleeing is violently interrupted this particular year. The village's blind priest, who claims he can actually see beyond the physical world, delivers this terrifying warning. He says, a demon walks with them this time, and they are searching for someone. So he senses that destruction is following them, but this time it has a very specific target in mind. And that target? It's a teenage girl named Radhika. She starts getting plagued by these absolutely terrifying nightmares, where she's trapped in a dark, rotting world, completely surrounded by skeletal shadow creatures. And they always whisper the exact same chilling phrase to her. We are coming for you. The priest actually confirms it. She is directly connected to this curse. So naturally, the fear in the village reaches a complete boiling point. Some people even demand Radhika be sacrificed. Her parents initially refuse, of course, but as that cursed night arrives, blind terror just consumes them. They make this unthinkable choice. They abandon her while she sleeps, fleeing to the safety of the temple, and basically leave their own daughter behind in the empty village as bait.
Radhika wakes up to absolute silence and quickly realizes the horrifying truth. But instead of just freezing up, she remembers a detail from her nightmares about her family's abandoned ancestral house. She runs straight there, which really brings us to the ultimate question of survival. How do you actually stop a curse that's born in hell? Because Radhika realizes pretty quickly that running is just not an option anymore.
So let's look at Section 3, Uncovering the Truth.
Inside this ruined mansion at the edge of the forest, Radhika makes a massive discovery. She uncovers a hidden underground chamber, and sitting inside, resting in red silk, is this ancient book emitting a literal supernatural light. Suddenly, bam, a flashlight beam hits her. And that's when she meets Vikas. He's a paranormal investigator who's actually been tracking the stories of this cursed village, and his expertise is exactly what she needs to translate this ancient text.
Together, they open the book, and the terrifying reality of Fulwa is laid completely bare. It turns out, Fulwa isn't just cursed by wandering spirits. The village was built directly over a literal gateway to hell, right beneath the cemetery. Every July 15th, it opens. And the only way to stop the massacre, that gate has to be permanently sealed, but from the inside.
That takes us to Section 4, Descent into Hell.
Knowing they have almost no time left before midnight, Radhika and Vikas make an incredibly brave decision. They step directly into the open grave, descending into this horrifying mirror image of their own world. While the real Fulwa is just a quiet forest village, Hell Fulwa is a twisted, decayed nightmare. It's covered in black slime, the walls are literally rotting, dripping with this dark liquid, and it completely reeks of death.
And almost immediately, they are confronted by the nightmare itself. Picture this, an enormous 8-foot-tall demon floating right in front of him, with tangled hair that moves like living snakes. It gives her a chilling ultimatum: offer yourself to the Lord of Hell or remain trapped here forever. But Radhika, she shows incredible resolve and bravely refuses.
Moving right along to Section 5, Sealing the Gate. Her refusal sparks an absolutely desperate race. They have to fight their way through hordes of shadow creatures just to reach the dark, hellish version of the village temple. Once there, they are guided by the ghosts of dead villagers to follow 3 extremely precise steps. Step 1. Vikash creates a protective circle using sacred vermilion powder. Step 2. Radhika performs the spoken ritual. And Step 3, the climax. She throws the ancient book straight into the sacred fire, destroying it so that gateway can never, ever be reopened.
The moment that book burns, the reaction is instantaneous. Hell itself begins to violently collapse around them. Thunder shakes the sky, forcing them into a desperate sprint. With literal storms raging and screaming demons hot on their heels, Radhika and Vikas leap through the gateway at the very last possible second, just as it seals shut forever.
When the sun finally rises and the villagers return, they find Fulwa safe for the very first time. The blind priest smiles, and he reveals a massive, hidden piece of the puzzle: 70. For 70 years, this priest had been carrying a heartbreaking secret about the origins of this horrific night.
He explains that 70 years ago, he didn't just stand by and watch the curse happen. He and Radhika's great-grandfather actually entered hell themselves to try and seal the gate, but they failed. Radhika's great-grandfather lost his life to the demons, and the priest only barely escaped, losing his eyesight forever in the process.
The priest turns his blind eyes to Radhika and tells her, "Destiny waited for you, Radhika. You were chosen to free this village." Which changes everything, right? She wasn't targeted just to be bait. The demons were actually terrified of her because she was fulfilling a multi-generational destiny to finish the battle her great-grandfather started.
So, the curse of Fulwa is over. The village is finally free, and Radhika's courage literally saved them all. But man, it leaves us with such a lingering thought. What other ancient curses are out there, just waiting to be broken by those brave enough to face the darkness? Fulwa's history was hidden deep in an isolated forest. So what else lies buried in the forgotten corners of the world? I really hope this explainer made you rethink the true power of facing your deepest fears, because sometimes the only way out is straight through.